So why would someone want an all-in-one system with speakers, amp, DAC, streamer, all built in, completely wireless, with no components to add? You won't need cables, you won't need a streamer, you won't need a DAC. I couldn't believe what I heard from these under $3,000 completely powered wireless speaker/system. I was blown away by these triangle Capellas. I have them here in Astral Blue, and they're quite the lookers. Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I have a great one for you guys. Lately I've been getting emails, I think it's the holidays coming up, the Christmas holiday, asking me what my recommendation is for an all-in-one self-powered wireless speaker. Now there's a few of them out there. A lot of them are in the high-end realm. Some of them are in the lower-end realm. And for the last, I don't know if it's been a year yet, but I've had the Triangle AIO Twins. I've been using those in my bedroom, and they've been pretty good. They've been really good, actually. I use them to stream Spotify sometimes in the bedroom. We watch movies using them, and in the past I had a turntable hooked up to those little wireless speakers. Now those are a little different from what I'm going to talk about today from Triangle. Recently Triangle came out with the Capella, which is a full system of speakers, amp, DAC, and even streamer for under $3,000. And I was asked by Triangle if I would like to review these a couple of months ago. They sent me the Capellas in the striking Astral Blue color. Now these come in a cool looking brown, which looks really, really nice, a black and a white, right? But the Astral Blues are pretty striking, and they sell stands, the S05 stands, that I'll talk about here in a minute, that kind of match the color of the speakers. So the Astral Blue has a little bit of a blue in the stand, the brown has a little bit of brown. But I really want to talk to you guys about these speakers today. Again, they are self-powered wireless speakers, all in an all-in-one system here. And they're very similar to the Bucard A10s I reviewed last year. Now the A10s from Bucard were a bookshelf all-in-one. It had the amp, the DAC, everything inside, and they were powered and controlled by the Platin hub, which is the stereo hub for them. Triangle uses the same exact hub, except it's now branded with a Triangle logo. It's a stereo hub, and it uses the same method of connecting the speakers wirelessly. And I took them out of the box. I loved the presentation first and foremost. Each speaker came wrapped in a cloth with the Capella logo on the front. It looked like Triangle was really trying to make a statement with these, that you're going to get a high-end product without paying the high-end price. That was my initial reaction. So as I took them out of the box, I looked at the pattern. It's almost like a burl walnut under the blue. It looks really, really nice. There's a gloss to it. The drivers look really good. There is a magnesium tweeter in this, and I gotta say the tweeter sounds phenomenal, but I'll get to that in a second. So I took out the speakers, I set them up on the stands. They looked really, really nice in the room, if not a little bit small, so I was expecting a smaller sound from them. Also in the box is an accessory box, and that is what houses your two power cords, and these just use basic power cords. It comes with them. They're probably about 6 feet in length for each speaker, and there's the stereo hub, which controls everything. So you basically plug in your stereo hub. There's no wires that need to go to it at all. There's no wires that need to go to the speakers at all. Basically, the hub connects via Wi-Fi, and to connect it all up, you download the Google Home app, and it's really took under a minute to set these up. When I set up the Bucard A10s using the same method, the same hub, and downloading Google Home, there were a couple more steps involved that made it a little more difficult. But from what I understand, Triangle at the factory already pairs the speakers and the remote to the hub, so everything is already set out of the box. All we had to do was open up Google Home, it finds the hub, the speakers, and it connects everything in under a minute it took. It was very, very easy. So after you set them up, your Wi-Fi stays in the hub, and the hub I'll talk about more in a minute too, but you can add other sources to this hub. You can add a high-end streamer if you want. You can add a CD player. You can add a turntable. So this is not just for digital streaming, but out of the box, digital streaming is built in with Spotify Connect, Tidal Connect. You can stream Qobuz, you can stream Deezer, Apple Music, right? Chromecast is here. So these speakers out of the box, once set up in under a minute or two, we're ready to make music. Now, when I first tested them, I sat down and I connected via Tidal Connect, and I have a playlist over at Tidal, and I'm on Tidal is HiFi Huff. And there's a playlist called HiFi Demo Songs that I add to all the time. And these are a list of songs that I use to listen to speakers where I can judge bass, where I can judge soundstage, where I can judge the spatial effects. I also use these songs to evaluate vocal performance. There's a ton of songs in there. So I started listening to Tidal Connect, and the first song that came on, I just played the playlist, is from Depeche Mode. It's called My Cosmos Is Mine. And I use this track to judge bass, to judge impact, to judge spatial effects and imaging and separation of the sounds, because there's so much going on in this track. You hear the drums, you hear the keyboards, you hear layered vocals between Dave Gahan and Martin Gore. And while this song sounds pretty powerful on most systems I've heard, on the Capellas, I was blown away at the way the details were coming out in a 3D space. I was not expecting this at all. I was not expecting the bass to be as prevalent and powerful as it is. Now, these speakers are unique because they port out of the bottom. There's a porthole at the bottom, and the way these speakers fit on the stand, they just kind of slide onto the top base of the stand and lock in. You don't have to screw them in. And this makes for a very stable bass, but it also allows that flat plate of the speaker stand, allows that bass to reflect off of it, just like a subwoofer would reflect off of a wooden floor, say. So the bass performance on these is quite remarkable. So as I kept listening to music through that playlist, I was just shocked at the treble performance. It was so extended and three-dimensional and spatial, yet it was smooth to where it was never bright. And these don't sound like a pair of $1,000 speakers. These sound like a pair of $5,000 speakers, yet you're getting the amp, the DAC, the streamer, all included. It comes with a really nice remote, and I love this remote. It's the same remote that Buchard sends with their powered speakers. You can change sources, you can skip tracks, you can change the volume, and it works instantly. It's an RF remote, so that remote works anywhere in the house. Another cool thing is now this hub can be placed separately from the speakers. You can place your hub anywhere in the room and place your speakers anywhere else in the room because there's nothing connecting them together via wires. Everything is wireless. And I got to tell you, the day has come where wireless hi-fi sounds really, really pretty amazing. I'm getting everything, the spatial effects, the wide sound stage. Now the sound stage is not tall, it doesn't have the height, has a little bit of depth, and these are not going to sound like a $30,000 or $40,000 system, but what they will sound like for $3,000 is probably close to something you can spend around close to $10K on, and that's no joke, it's no hype. These sound beautiful. Now, they're not meant for huge rooms, they're small two-way speakers. In my 13 by 18 space, they are probably the perfect size speaker for this room. The bass is clean, tight, but yet very explosive at times. It was vibrating the windows with some bass heavy tracks, which really surprised me. The treble, uber detailed yet smooth and expansive. It comes out into the room. The mid-range is very clear. It's not a full-throated, big voiced mid-range. It's not a fat mid-range. It's kind of a clean and crisp mid-range where the vocals sound really, really clean and you can hear a lot of the details there. Now let's compare these to the Buchard A10, and sadly I have to go from memory, but these two speakers sound quite a bit different. The Buchard also has master tunings that they offer on a USB stick where you can change the presentation up a little bit. But if you just run the Buchards in their standard mode, they're focused more on the bass and the mid-range. The treble's a little more subdued, where the triangles, you get that energy and excitement from the treble and upper mids, where the bass is a little bit more subdued with the triangles, yet it's still very good. Those Bucards are just bombastic and thunderous with the bass and that purified driver that they use. But the treble on the Bucards does not match the treble of the Capellas, in my opinion. I much prefer the treble of the Capellas, but I kind of love that bass of the Bucards. But even so, the triangles have this natural, even-handed bass performance that just sounds really, really good. I'll say that no song, no matter what I played through it, ever sounded thin, and I'm allergic to thin-sounding speakers, so these were really, really good. So setting these up took a few minutes. What about room correction now? I tried it with my iPhone, and I believe you can use an iPhone, but if you run Android, you're gonna need the Zen mic. Tried both, and I definitely got better results with the measuring and the room correction using the Zen mic. When I used my phone, it made the speakers too bass heavy and too plump, and it kind of beefed up the sound but took away some of that detail. When I used the Zen mic, and you walk around the room during the process, takes a few minutes, I received more of a even-handed bass. It was a little more juicier than flat and stock, but it kind of livened them up a little bit, even in the mid-range. So using that Zen mic really, really works out, and it's really easy to do. You open up the Capella app, and it works just like the Bucard app. And you basically hook up the speakers, you start your room calibration, and you follow the instructions on your screen. So also with Bucard, you're getting more of a classic wood box enclosure. With the triangles, you're getting more of a fancy, classy, some will say blingy, colorful kind of look. So in looks, they're completely opposites. In sound, they both sound tremendously good, but at under 3K, the triangles are just blowing me away with that, the way the detail, it's a more exciting listen, but never fatiguing. Now these triangle Capellas, even though they're fully wireless and operate from a hub, a wireless hub, sound like a high-end speaker. And that's what really threw me for a loop. The fact that these are $29.99 or $29.95, yet they sound like a 5K speaker. And I love the fact that right out of the box, it's ready to stream. Very, very easy to use, but on the back of that hub, there's some inputs. So you can input other digital sources. You can input, you can hook up a CD player to those RCA ins on the back of the hub. You can hook up a high-class, high-dollar streamer if you want to make a little bit of improvement in the music by hooking up a streamer to the digital coax, and you just use the remote to change the input. It's really, really simple. Triangle even supplies a big poster-like sheet showing you step-by-step instructions on how to set these up. So it's very, very easy for anyone to set up and use. So who are these speakers for? These are for someone who doesn't want a ton of boxes laying around or hooking up a ton of boxes. You don't want 5 or 6 components sitting on shelves, or maybe your wife doesn't like those components sitting on the shelf. It's for someone who wants built-in synergy. The Capella system is built in with synergy, meaning you don't have to find an amp or a DAC or whatever that matches with your speakers and cables and all of that. You don't even need cables with this system. So it's for someone who wants an easy to set up all-in-one digital streaming system, or you can add a turntable, who doesn't want the muss and fuss of matching components or spending all that big money trying to find components and cables to make everything sound perfect. Because out of the box, these already have the sound they were designed to have. I would say you don't need to add a high-dollar streamer. You don't need to add anything to it. If you just want to make music in a room, whether it's a main room, a listening room, a bedroom, an office, these also work great as a second system because, believe me, they sound beautiful. The sound quality here is what got me excited about these speakers. So it's for those of you who don't want to mess with all of that stuff within HiFi and spend thousands upon thousands of dollars. It's for those of you who just love music and you want to stream from your favorite apps. It's for those of you who want high quality music in your space rather than a boombox or a Bluetooth speaker. I just couldn't believe how good they are for the money, which shows, once again, you don't have to spend thousands or tens of thousands of dollars to get amazing sound from your music. Now, Again, I wouldn't put these in a large room. These are meant for a small to medium-sized room, but in that application, they sound phenomenal. So that's about all I can say about the triangle Capellas. They come in one box. It's a full-featured system for under 3K that sounds more like a 10K system. And I think that's because everything has synergy. The amp they included, the DAC that's in here sounds phenomenal. You won't need an external DAC. The streamer here, the functions of the streamer are really, really nice, and they work without glitching. These are also Rune ready, so you can use these with Rune. So these are a all-out home run grand slam hit from Triangle. I much prefer these to the AIO Twins, which are more of an older school set of powered speakers. These are powered wireless speakers. They're larger, they sound more refined, they sound absolutely incredible. Nice wide sound stage, you get beautiful detail, natural imaging. Nothing over the top, nothing subdued. Everything is just right in that mid area and that upper region with bass that will surprise you for the size of the speakers. I'll throw a link in the description below. And of course, no, I was not paid for this review. If you like this video, thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you soon in the next one. I have a ton of stuff I have coming for review, and they'll probably be released here shortly, a video every few days until I get caught up. I've been listening to some really incredible things here, and I can't wait to share my thoughts on all of it with you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Love you all.